All right, now we'd like to welcome Derek Lucas from Jazz 90.1 to the show. Hey, Derek, how are you?
Hey, how you
sorry.
doing? Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Hi. So tell me, what type of music came out of the Harlem Renaissance?
Well, a number of kinds of music came out of the Harlem Renaissance, but the most important music and its greatest legacy, I would say, is jazz.
And so what classifies music as being jazz?
Well, for me, it would be a mixture of really African and European cultures coming together with harmony, rhythm, and melody, and most important, improvisation.
Okay.
Now, why was jazz important to the Harlem Renaissance, and what role does it play today in our culture?
Well, what happened was that for the longest time, in its infancy, jazz was really considered like the devil's music. It was considered places you would never go to, the parts of town you'd never want to see or hear about. But with the Harlem Renaissance and with jazz, all of a sudden it elevated the culture and the music. And what happened, all of a sudden, people thought this music is not just for low lives, so to speak, how we think of, let's say, different kinds of music today that people think, well, I don't like that because it brings an undesirable element. What happened with this part during the Harlem Renaissance, jazz all of a sudden elevated its music in terms of culture. Now it's associated with high culture as well as with elegance and class and sophistication.
Cool. So who are some of the jazz artists from the Harlem Renaissance?
Well, four really come to mind. U.B. Blake being one, because he was really the first artist to transition from ragtime into jazz and bring it onto Broadway. He had a 1921 musical called Shuffle Along, which really was the first musical done exclusively by African Americans, really highlighting the transition between ragtime in the late 19th century into the early 20th century in 1921. That evolved into Fletcher Henderson, who then had one of the first big bands, and then Cab Calloway, and probably the biggest and most important artist that emerged from the Harlem Renaissance would be Duke Ellington.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, now you brought some music for us to hear today. What are we going to hear?
Well, we're going to hear a couple of those artists. Well, we're hearing Cab Calloway, I thought, because he was born here in Rochester.
Really?
And then,
wow,
oh yeah,
that.
yeah, born and raised in Rochester, and then before moving to Washington, D.C., and then eventually coming to New York, and then also we'll be hearing music from Duke Ellington and Fletcher Henderson for this afternoon.
Okay.
Okay. All right, let's take a listen to this.
This is Fletcher Henderson doing the King Porter Stomp. Now, the reason why we chose this piece of music because the King Porter Stomp initially was a ragtime piece written by Jelly Roll Morton. But now, transition that 10 years later, Fletcher Henderson took that piece of music and made it really one of the first big band pieces, which also incorporated another element to jazz in the Harlem Renaissance, dance.
Like the swing and
the swing, yeah. Before that, the Charleston, for example,
Right.
dances like that.
Of when you think of 1920.
Right,
Yeah.
and that came from the King Porter Stomp. So all of a sudden, now in addition to hearing the music, a couple things happened. Technology, radio happened, so people now can hear this around the country. Also, with the Harlem Renaissance, there were clubs like the Cotton Club, where people would come to and flock to. Now, for the first time, whites and blacks can come together by choice instead of by force to take part in entertainment. Every other segment of society, that couldn't happen and did not happen, except in one place, jazz. And
so that's a pretty big, significant event that it took place in American culture, where now you had people that were engaging in activities that were mutually enjoyable.
Right, for the first time.
Right.
Because beforehand, that didn't happen because of segregation. Obviously, in the South, as we just spoke about, the Jim Crow laws prohibited blacks and whites from being together at any time.
Nice.
So what else did you bring for us to hear today?
Well, we talked about Cab Calloway. Let's hear some Cab Calloway.
Okay.
Okay. Let's listen.
Yeah, I think you might hear that song. Watch the Blues Brothers or, great music. That's right. So, yeah, Minnie the Moocher.
Now, why is this piece significant to jazz?
This is significant because a couple of things. Jazz, like any other music, all of a sudden has its own language. And if you hear the words of the song, this was clearly almost 90 years ago, the song is so deep in terms of inside jokes, in terms of jazz music's own little idiom as well as its own language, in terms of hip culture.
Right. Yeah, back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, back then it was hip.
So the words they're using, unless you had to be part of the jazz world to understand some of the things that Cab Calloway was talking about. So
kind of like our students.
Exactly.
Right.
So, your students have their own language, or they talk about because of technology, because of what they have to use. Same with this song here with Minnie the Moochers. So unless you were hip, you wouldn't know what the heck they were talking about.
But you might still like the music.
You still like the music, but to be part of the inside culture of the Harlem Renaissance, you knew exactly what Minnie the Moocher stood for and what she was up to, what she was doing. So I thought it was kind of interesting. So all of a sudden, the first song really to talk about jazz is inside language and in culture.
Nice.
And I believe we have time to listen to one more.
Yes, we do.
And what would that be?
This would be Duke Ellington.
All right.
And really, as I
Okay.
said before, the most important artist to really emerge in terms of music of the Harlem Renaissance, because Duke Ellington, along with Cab Calloway, came from Washington, D.C. in the mid-1920s. And all of a sudden, his music completely changed jazz in terms of all of a sudden, for the first time as you're hearing, syncopation happened, as well as this really feel of sophistication and class and elegance with the music that really wasn't there before.
And like these bands that would play this music, it's not just one person. You might have 6, 8, 10 people as an ensemble.
Right. In this case here, the Duke Ellington Orchestra had 15. This is the Black and Tan Fantasy.
Okay.
So it's one of his most important first pieces, really, that gained him national and actually international recognition and fame that came out of the Harlem Renaissance. This is approximately 1927.
And these are pieces that they composed themselves, right?
Correct. So Duke Ellington composed close to 1,500 pieces in his lifetime. And this is one of his most important pieces, because all of a sudden this took Duke Ellington from being one of the great artists to all of a sudden now, at age only 28 at the time of this recording, to an artist that had to be considered serious in terms of Gershwin or in terms of Brahms or Bach.
Right.
Well, Derek, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming
Thanks
in,
so
Derek.
much.
We would like to thank Derek for being here. And when we come back, we will have the answer to tonight's creature teaser.